In the land of Dotun, its inhabitants live in peace in its various provinces, but a great plague of destruction will soon engulf it. Legend speaks of a hero who, while surviving amongst the destruction, will gain the power to bring back the land he loves. That hero would move in a flash of red. On July 19th, 2007, Yo-Yo Games sandbox user Soup42 uploaded the game RedHero. In the level-based platformer, you play as the titular RedHero, Red. At the start of the game, we are introduced to the character Flowen in a safe area known as Heaven's Mist, which is situated far above the world. Flowen is a weird snake thing and tells us that he is the sole guardian of Dotun. Apparently, the gods think that Dotun is so under-evolved that they're just bombing the whole place back into the Stone Age. It's like a Noah's Ark situation, but instead of a flood, it's literally raining bombs. Surprisingly, our goal is not to save the world from the reign of destruction, nor are we tasked with leading the other inhabitants to safety, as there is no place to run. Instead, Flowen tells Red that it is his job to collect enough power before Dotun is destroyed that Red may recreate it, as described in an ancient prophecy. This power comes in the form of orbs scattered throughout Dotun, which are blue, and just about as big as you. This opening scene is littered with fourth wall jabs and is quite casually written, including Flowen rhyming accidentally, and Red knowing the name of the game by reading the title screen. It's a nice touch that maintains a lighthearted feel. After this cutscene, we begin our first level, the Skylands. RedHero plays as a standard platformer with one key gimmick. The bombs raining from the sky explode, blasting holes in the terrain. This was quite a unique mechanic in Gamemaker games at the time, and was a pretty technically impressive feat in 2007. If your character goes too near a bomb, the bomb will deviate from its path to follow you, giving you some control over where it will explode. This of course comes at the expense of precious health points if it explodes on top of you, so you can't overuse it. There are 7 blue orbs per level, but you only need to collect 5 in order to move on by pressing space. However, these orbs are buried deep within the ground when each level begins, and thus must be blasted out by the bombs before they can be collected. This poses a major issue because, if you're not careful, an explosion may hit the orb you're trying to get, destroying it. The levels also become more challenging to navigate as platforms are destroyed in the explosions, and you can easily be stranded this way. The gameplay does a good overall job of being engaging and fun, but there are times when you need to unearth an orb and get stuck waiting for a bomb to drop close enough for you to snare it, which can lead to some boring downtime. This may become more of an issue in later levels. Present on each level are small green characters who otherwise look like the player. They serve no purpose whatsoever, but simply stand around and attempt to flee when a bomb is nearby, occasionally crying out in anguish. When I played this game as a kid, I always felt really bad that we couldn't save the innocent bystanders, but maybe I'll cover that in a future video. Once you collect all 5 orbs, hey, why is that one gray? Once you collect all 5 orbs, you press the spacebar to complete the level. Back in Heaven's Mist, Red asks Flowen what will happen to the people of the Skylands. He replies that he doesn't know because it's his first time dealing with this, but that you are in it together. He also explains that once you collect 5 orbs, any remaining in the level will lose their power, becoming gray and filled with dark energy. He warns us to stay away from them, as he does not know what would happen if we were to touch them, and then sends us on our way to the next location, the Redlands. This is a desert area which, instead of floating islands, features actual ground, though it can be destroyed by explosions, and some pretty nifty statues. Never mind. The next level is the Frostlands. This one is pretty unique in that it is only one screen wide, but quite deep, and that many of the orbs do not require much terrain to be destroyed to access. This also means, however, that it's quite easy to get stuck deep in the ground and be unable to jump out until a convenient bomb drops precisely down the shaft. This may become more of an issue in later levels. Back in Heaven's Mist, Red talks to Flowen about being a legend, and Flowen responds with the rhyme, "It is in a time of great need, you will save the day with great speed," which Red thinks is just okay. Flowen tells us that our next destination is the city, and that if we fall down, we may have trouble getting back up. With this ominous warning, we begin level 4. And yeah, this is the level where waiting for bombs really gets tedious. You need to wait for a bomb to get into the building, then you need to wait for a bomb to get down to the next floor. You need to get a bomb to bust through the wall to the next room, then a bomb to get back up. The second tower is the same story, but you need to wait for a few bombs to get in there. And should you miss the jump and fall in between the buildings, you will need several bombs to blast footholds in the side to get back up. If you're unlucky with the RNG, this can take several minutes to do, and if the bombs happen to destroy more than 2 of the blue orbs while you're stuck, you'll need to reset the level and do it all again. I used to replay this game quite often, and this level would be the #1 place I would just get fed up and quit, which is a shame because the rest of the levels are quite fun and not nearly as frustrating. After slogging through all this, we collect the remaining orbs and return to Heaven's Mist. Red remarks that the blue orbs seem very powerful, and asks Flowen why nobody has ever attempted to collect them before. Flowen explains that not only were all the orbs buried before the bombs began falling, but that they must be activated by one of the Guardians to have any power. When Red asks whether there are more Guardians than just Flowen, we are teleported into the next level without explanation. The next level is a water level, oh goody. In all seriousness, this one is pretty fun. While underwater, Red has unlimited small jumps, while usually we only have a double jump, and this allows us to move much more freely than usual, and crucially, we can't possibly get stuck, right? The bombs still explode underwater because, as Flowen explains, the game's creator thought it would be pretty boring if they didn't. Like the ice level, this one is only one screen wide, leading to a tight, claustrophobia-inducing experience as we navigate slowly through the underwater tunnels. My only complaint here is that the bombs, which are already sometimes a bit hard to track, become next to impossible to see beneath the surface of the water. While writing the script for this level, I somehow managed to clip down through the blocks into this small room with a green guy, and he kept saying, "What should we do?" And I was like, I don't know, buddy, I don't know. After being blown free and collecting the rest of the orbs, we return to Heaven's Mist, and Red presses Flowen on his earlier slip. Are there really more Guardians? Flowen admits that there are, but they aren't here right now. When asked why he didn't say anything before, Flowen says that he didn't want Red to doubt him. Flowen felt that he had to stay behind when the others left because he didn't want to leave Red alone because, well, they're a team. After this exchange, we set off to the desert lands and spawn atop a giant pyramid. Unlike previous levels, this one doesn't really have a special mechanic or gimmick, it's just a big pyramid in which all the orbs are buried. There are few opportunities to get stuck, and movement is free enough that you never have to wait too long for bombs to appear, so it's a fun level, if a bit anticlimactic for the final one. After collecting the 5 orbs, we warp back to Flowen, who says that we have now finished collecting them all. All he has to do now is activate the blue orbs, and Doten will be restored. He does this, and an end cutscene plays of all the areas being... Okay, well, Flowen explains he just needs to take the power of the orbs to restore the world. He does this, and the end cutscene plays... Well... A voice yells, "Release 5 from the diamond," and for some reason, a giant hunk of gray earth the shape of a diamond rises into the sky. Red is forced to endure a ruthless bombardment from his former friend as Flowen flies around the top of the screen, dropping large, square-shaped bombs with much larger than regular blast radiuses. Buried in the diamond are blue orbs, as in the normal levels, but when we collect these, they do not disappear but fly up and smash into Flowen as he rains chaos down upon you. After hitting him with 5 orbs, he careens out of the sky, tearing through the diamond as he falls. The defeated Flowen hangs in the sky above Red, his snake-like body absent. Before it's too late, he says, he must admit the truth, that he destroyed Doten. Flowen was the last created of the 5 Guardians. He lured the other Guardians away on false pretenses, then activated the orbs and tricked Red into collecting them, since as a Guardian he could not. Flowen, having been created long after the other 4 Guardians, always felt that they were wiser and stronger than him. He was left out of everything, alone and without a friend. After hearing that a Guardian who absorbed all the blue orbs could become the supreme deity, he decided that he must collect them all to prove his worth to his brothers and rule Doten, together with Red, as best friends. When Red asks Flowen why he would want to be best friends with someone who destroyed his homeland, Flowen cannot find it within himself to answer. Flowen begs Red to finish him, having ruined so many lives only to fail to attain happiness, but Red refuses. Flowen says he is sorry for all he has done and asks if he can tell Red one last rhyme. In hopes to find myself a friend, I've caused our paths to reach an end. As Flowen prepares to Kermit sewer slide, he is suddenly bathed in a ray of light and drops from the sky. The source is revealed to be the 4 remaining Guardians of Doten, back from their wild goose chase. They say they felt the awakening of Spira, the diamond thing which is full of emergency backup orbs for when all the others become dark. This retroactively explains the weird stuff that happened with the boss fight. The Guardians say that the power of the orbs was only meant to restore the land of Doten, not the people. But because this was all kind of their fault for being duped by Flowen, they'll use their powers to resurrect the people as well. They instruct Red to embrace the energy of the blue orbs surging through him and to harness it to restore Doten. Red floats into the air and lets out a burst of red energy, and the end cutscene plays, showing all of the areas being restored and their people with them. One of the resurrected citizens implies that they all have shared memories of the afterlife. Credits roll. RedHero is by no means a perfect game, but wait. Why didn't Flowen want us to collect those depleted gray orbs after we finished each level? I'm not listening to his lying snake ass. Just gonna replay the first level, get those gray orbs, and... Oh. That's right, if you collect the depleted gray orbs before warping to the next level, a mysterious force comes to sell you upgrades for your character. These make portions of the later game, the city level, far easier and more enjoyable. However, this comes at a cost. When you complete the final level of the game using the dark upgrades, Red is the one who becomes consumed by power, and Flowen is trying to stop you in the final boss. After the fight, when Flowen begs you to finish him off, Red still refuses, but the dark power overcomes him and Flowen is killed. The Guardians return, Doden is restored, and everything is well, except for a post-credit scene where we see two greens talking, and one of them is suddenly overtaken by the darkness as the game force quits. RedHero is by no means a perfect game, but there's a reason I keep coming back to it even over 15 years after its release. The gameplay is innovative and fun, if a little uneven at times. The graphics are nothing special, but are pleasant enough to look at. The music in the ice level slaps. The story is well written and delivers surprisingly good emotional stakes. The replayability is quite good, especially given the alternate path and ending. If you're bored, have half an hour, and don't mind that I already spoiled the twist, you can download RedHero from the Yo-Yo Games Sandbox archive. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.